All right, so I just want to do a brief walkthrough of the initial thoughts that I have in mind for the new single person group to handle merge request approvals. Certainly none of this is finalized, is sort of the big caveat. In fact, I don't think we even have a whole lot of issues or epics or even designs yet around this area other than just a rough prototype. And there's a little bit out there, but it certainly is not organized yet. So just take all of this as notional thinking, highly subject to change, and we'll be working out the details in the future. But as of today, we should probably start with what exists now. You can go in the project level under settings, general, and you can come down and define your merge request approvals. And as part of this, you can enable vulnerability check and license check. I don't have this set up here, so I'm going to refer to our docs so that you can see what that looks like. And I think our SEO stuff is changing, so it did not come up right away. Let's try license check.
You should totally set up your browser aliases for docs search, like GD. Yeah, there's some stuff in that in the handbook.
Good idea.
It's very handy.
You might have to search for vulnerability-check in quotes, I think, to get that one from the Googles.
Got it. All right, well, license compliance, I did find this. So license compliance, you can go in, you can specify a branch, and you set up specific approvers that you want to have. And it looks for any dependencies with a software license that's specified as denied. So basically, if you're trying to merge in a new dependency that's not approved, it routes it to this specific group of approvers that you've defined here. And requires their approval before it can be merged in. And the security approvals is very similar. You set up this project approval rule in here, and you're able to specify, who's allowed to approve it. It's just a little bit odd because all of this great functionality is off on its own by itself under this settings general tab. And it's a little bit hard to find. And perhaps the biggest problem is all of this is done at the project level. So if you have an organization-wide policy about the licenses that are allowed to be used or vulnerabilities that are allowed to be merged in, you have to go and do this for every single project. And this is going to sound like a very familiar story for the container security group anyway, but once again, for customers with 14,000 projects to go and do all of this thousands of times at the project level and then make sure it stays that way is just not sustainable. So the idea would be to take this functionality, and we're probably going to have to figure out some way to do a migration of some sort from where it's at now, but where we want it to end up is as a scan result policy. So that you can go in and say, if a scan finds X number of critical vulnerabilities, this would be the vulnerability check piece. Then I want to add an action here, require approval from one or more individuals, and presumably there would be somewhere in the product that you can predefine these approval groups. Basically, say this set of users has the authority to approve these license checks. It may be a legal department, it may be the application security team, it may be both, but you're able to go in and require approval from them. And then the same would be true if it was a license compliant scan. If you find one or more of these licenses, or perhaps we change this to match the current functionality of just, any license that was on the not approved list. So it would be taking that and moving it here, and then also providing this at the group and workspace level. So that would be that person's sole focus.